All right, so good morning and welcome back to the Weight Escape. This morning I have Lori, sorry, here we go, can't speak already, starting off great this morning. Lori Sawyer and Karen Biscano from Clean Cut Fitness and Nutrition. And I'm actually kind of interested to have them on today because they're going to be talking a little bit about what they do, but specifically about some gut health and things. So I am intrigued, especially during times like this, of kind of how that gut actually impacts our overall health and wellness. So welcome, ladies. I would love it if you would jump in and just a little bit about yourself, kind of how you came about doing what you're doing. Keep it simple, nothing big, but jump on in.
Yeah, so years back when we both have teenagers now, but years back when we first had kids, I was teaching stroller fitness and we were looking for another instructor, and Karen was recommended, and we immediately hit it off and teaching stroller classes. And we had clients, we always sort of like cater to the client. So we had clients who wanted to run a 5K. Then we had clients who, needed to lose the baby weight. And Karen and I both had background in nutrition. She was doing her own little thing and I was doing my own little thing. And we sort of put it together and did a little 6-week program for local moms, and it worked. And then it grew again and it worked. And we went from 6 moms to 100 moms, and we went virtual and now doing it online. And we've created a 6-week signature program. So we have a base signature program that teaches you how to eat, how to cheat. We call it Shrink Your Body, Grow Your Mind. How to eat, how to cheat, how to enjoy the things you love, but to bring in more of a holistic approach to it. Real foods, clean foods, how they work in your body, and tips and hacks on how to enjoy life and enjoy food and how to bring the mental aspect into everything, all while keeping the weight off. Yeah. And and it works.
Yeah, I think part of it for us was, we were both in the fitness industry, and our clients would always say, well, what do you eat? What do you do? So we started to collaborate, like, well, what do you do? And what do I do? And it became our program. And obviously the program has evolved as we've educated ourselves. And for me, part of it came from the education of food, was because I always had an issue with food and I was scared of it. And I was so tired of being scared of food. And I didn't think it had to be so hard to stay fit and to stay healthy if we understood food. So we dug deeper into it and we just educated ourselves more and more certifications, so on. And we built what we have today. And it works. Like Lori said, it's about a balance. We're not going to tell you not to eat something ever. And we're not going to tell you you have to eat this, because if you're not going to eat that, you're never going to eat it, right? If kale is on the menu and you don't like kale and you say, fine, I'll do it for 6 weeks, week 7, you're back to potato chips.
Yeah, you're back. So what we try to do is find healthier options for the things you love, and be able to place the things that you do really love into your lifestyle and your diet in different places. So it's all about a balance. It's all about enjoying life, but it's also now, I think more than ever, about keeping your immune system really strong and understanding how food works in your body, and thinking about food as fuel. Like I had a call this morning with one of our, we also have an accountability program for members after the 6 weeks. And we had a call this morning with one of them, and she was saying how she never in a million years thought she could give up pizza. And we're like, well, you don't have to give up pizza. You can have it as your treat here and there. And she goes, so the other day we ordered pizza, and she goes, and I felt like garbage afterwards. She goes, it's not fuel for my body. I enjoy it, but she goes, I'm going to be really aware of that now, that if I have my pizza, I know how I'm going to feel.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. But, and we always say, like, don't beat yourself up. Like, you can always erase something. Right? So if we call it planning for your cheat. Everything's a plan. And if you have a plan and you work the plan, you will be successful. So if I know that I'm going to be cheating on Saturday night, I am clean all week. I know what I'm doing. Saturday night comes, I'm going to enjoy my cheat. I know I'm not going to feel great the next day. I'm pretty aware of that. But if you plan for it, then you can just enjoy it. You don't get the guilt with it, the anger, why'd I do that?
Yeah.
You knew you were going to do it.
Yeah. We don't want people to feel guilty for enjoying the things they love, but once they become clean, they feel so good with the clean foods, and they're delicious. They're healthy. Yeah. They're colorful. They're flavorful. They may find a new clean food that's even better than that pizza, and they're going to find themselves to start to crave the cleaner options because it makes them feel so good. So that's our goal, is to be able to give people that give and take and be able to keep a balance. So, we say when you get to that goal weight, we want you to maintain a 5-pound range. Right. Everybody's body weight fluctuates here and there with hormones and life and everything. And so as long as you don't fall off and you keep falling off, we teach you to, if you fall off, it's okay, but how to get right back on and to maintain.
And we have those tips for you. So we have the plan. All we ask for you is pay attention, ask a ton of questions, and just follow the plan. And then all of a sudden it becomes second nature. And it really, really does. I mean, like, we'll ask you, like, what's your favorite thing? And if you're like, I really just don't want to give up my wine, our answer will be like, okay, that's great, then stop eating fruit. And they're like, what? I'm like, that's it. Pick, give or take, choose. You can't have both. You can't have it all. So pick which one's more important to you and enjoy it, and take out what's not. And then the balance will come. And then as it goes on, your brain starts to shift with it. So it's a really great mindset. We have a great group of people. The support system is amazing. We educate you. So every single week we educate you. Like week 1 is like, just listen, just don't ask a ton of questions, just do what you have to do. But we teach you why good fat. We teach you to understand insulin in your body. And then we go really, really deep into gut health, which is something we really want to tap into today. Like everything starts in your gut, everything. Mm-hmm. So without a healthy gut, the rest of your systems aren't going to talk to each other the way that they want to. So no matter how clean you are, if you're not doing it right, your system's still going to be jammed up. So we're really, really, really pushy on clean gut and having a routine to keep it clean.
Right. Think about when people say, oh, my gut said this was going to happen, or I felt it in my gut. Like it's the truth. Your gut is they call your gut your second brain. So when you get that feeling in your gut of something good or something bad, like usually like there's something to that. It's crazy, but there's something to that. So we want to keep that super strong, super clean, super healthy to be able to fight off the infections and to fight off what is happening in the world and keep your immune system really strong.
Yeah. I mean, like she's saying, your gut health, your gut brain, the second brain is actually true. The gut feeling comes from a nerve called the vagus nerve from your brain to your stomach. And that speaks to each other. So like, here's a perfect example. If your gut is not healthy, right? If the flora in your gut is not healthy, the bad bacteria have all of the power. And the message they send to your brain is, you want more sugar, you want to eat pizza, you want fast food. So you think for some reason I crave these things. You really are, because the bad bacteria has the power. So when you can get rid of the bad bacteria and increase that good bacteria, all of a sudden the message sent to your brain is, I want sweet potato, I want avocados, I want good fat, I'm craving good fat, because that's really what our body runs on. Our body really does run on good fats, low carbohydrate, and really great clean protein and tons of vegetables. So it doesn't mean that that's boring food. It doesn't mean that you're eating only quinoa and kale. Like chicken thighs, like it's bacon, butter. Like these are the things that we think are wrong are really not. So when you learn it and you understand why you're eating it, it's so much easier to continue to do it. So without that gut health, everything's going to fall apart. You're fighting a battle that you can't win. So we're really, really, really pushy about our regimen, which is simple. It's like apple cider vinegar, probiotics. Give me more right now. I'm blanking.
Well, apple cider vinegar, like we could touch base on that really quick, because cider vinegar helps balance your gut. So people are like, oh my God, vinegar. And the apple cider vinegar is not like your red wine vinegar. It's the vinegar that has like the cloudiness in it. And that's actually called the mother. That's the bacteria. That's the probiotic that we want you to have.
That's the good bacteria.
That's the good bacteria. And it's amazing. Apple cider vinegar can clear your skin, it balances your gut. Yeah, it actually clears your skin. It's amazing. Like
it balances your insulin levels, which is another major part of weight loss and weight management. Because if your insulin goes up and down, so does your body doesn't know what to do next. And if you have too much insulin, it stores it and it stores it as fat.
It spills over and it stores it as fat.
Right?
So, and also like when your insulin levels are up and down, that's like, your sugar, you're like craving, not craving, craving, not craving. So if we can keep all that balanced, that's why sometimes we'll say to people like, have a little shot of apple cider vinegar before a meal. It helps keep your insulin levels level. It helps maintain your fullness, feeling that fullness, and it's just fantastic for your gut. So that's really a huge part of our program as well, is to maintain your apple cider vinegar and taking a really good probiotic.
And a prebiotic. And a prebiotic is the food, right? So the probiotic is great, but without food, it doesn't really do anything. So your prebiotic are those like deep, deep fibers, like your flax seeds and your chia seeds and all those things. And they come in powders, but you can also eat clean and you will be feeding yourself prebiotic naturally, right? Probiotic doesn't have to come in a pill. They could be anything that's fermented.
Kombucha, kamichi, the cabbage.
Oh yeah.
It's cabbage that is fermented. And I just bought some. kimchi, you know, like us with our words, right? Kimchi. And so it's basically fermented cabbage. And they have a spicy one. They have, you know, just the regular fermented one. And you know, you can throw that on top of a salad. I had a little bit of last night with my dinner, like on the side. You know, you can put it like in a taco.
Yeah, sauerkrauts. They have the same thing. I mean, if you're gonna get sauerkraut, just don't get like the one that's next to the hot dogs. That is not fermented. It's just making that very, very clear. It has to say fermented. It has to say like raw fermented.
Yeah. Kombucha is a huge one. That's a fermented, like a tea. Also, what else?
I mean, these are those natural things that you could just add in, and like you literally need like a teaspoon of the cabbage or the kimchi, and you have all your yogurts, and you have all your probiotics that you need. So you don't have to buy a really expensive one. Like, we're not going to push anything, but it's not doing it once in a while either. It's doing it all the time. So we always say, like, you know, if you're going to do most of it right and a little bit wrong, you're going to be fine. But the most of it, they have to be consistent. And if you're not consistent with it, if you're like, I do apple cider vinegar every once in a while, that means nothing, right? The same way I cheat every once in a while means absolutely nothing. It's fine. It's totally fine. Right. So it has to be the constant that works.
Right. Also, a big thing with gut health, well, is I'm going to bring this back to skin, just because we had one client specifically that was constantly breaking out in hives, having irritations, and all she did was change her diet. All she was change her diet, added her probiotics in, was consistent with apple cider vinegar, and all her skin conditions are gone. She's been going to doctors for years.
Wow.
That's one. Blood pressure will come down. Yep. Blood work will come back. Your sugar levels will normalize out when you have a healthy gut.
And going back to the part of the healthy gut, when we're talking about the good bacteria and the bad. So if your gut wall is not, like, it's thin, right? Our gut wall is pretty thin, but it is armed pretty deep, right? Like, there's an army to help you there. So, but if there's a tiny little hole, all of that bad bacteria will now come out into your bloodstream. So you get inflammation in your joints, you get brain fog, you're tired, you don't feel well, like everything's off. So we have to clean it up, and you can cure it, you know, and you get that tiny little hole goes away because you're doing your probiotic and you're doing your pre's and your apple cider vinegar, you're eating clean, you're not eating processed foods that are damaging the walls. And all of a sudden with time, it comes back, and now the good bacteria is there sending the right message. The bad bacteria is like, because they can't get into your bloodstream anymore, and you just start to feel better. So it goes with everything. I mean, most sicknesses start in your gut. Like, I'm sure you don't know this, but strep throat starts in your gut.
A lot of cancers start in your gut. They do. A lot of cancers have been linked back to poor gut health.
Wow.
Heart disease, bacteria, heart disease. Yeah, all of this, because just like Karen said, if it's there, it could even be just leaking out slowly. But that bad bacteria is getting into your body and into your bloodstream and affecting everything. Yeah. So the more healthy bacteria we have to keep those bad, all those bad flora, keep them at bay and where they should be, and more healthy bacteria, the better. And we need to do everything we can right now to try to build that immunity levels low, keep our body strong. Yeah. So it all comes back to that gut health
and being consistent with it.
Yeah,
it's key.
For sure.
Once you find out what works for you, don't change it. If it's not broken, don't fix it.
Yeah.
If it's broken, let's figure out how to fix it.
Yeah, instead of, you know, medicine after medicine after medicine and trying to just hide things, keep it level, why not go the route of let me build a strong immune system so I don't have to take these medicines.
And the medicines cause gut problems, and you're going in a vicious cycle, right? Like, try to avoid an antibiotic at all costs. Like, if you don't need it, and ride it out, because every time you put an antibiotic into your gut, because that's where it's going first, you're destroying the flora. You're starting from scratch again. So I avoid all costs. Like, I'm just going to ride this one out. Like tea, like I don't even take Advils. I try to avoid them because they just destroy your gut. And if you finally get it in check, why would you do anything to mess it up?
Like, my son had a swimmer's ear and an ear infection a couple of weeks ago, Jen. Not as bad as yours. Not as bad as yours. But the doctor prescribed an antibiotic, and she looked at me, and now I've been going to this doctor for 15 years. She finally said to me, make sure he takes a probiotic, make sure he's eating something. After 15 years of giving me this, they're finally like, oh, okay, thank you. Like, I knew that, but like, she finally is like, make sure. So they know, and they're very aware, these doctors are very aware that this is killing all of the good bacteria. Yeah. So we do.
You got to bump up the best we can. Right. If you have to take an antibiotic, which we do at times. Right. Bump up your probiotic for that week. Yeah. Try to find the balance in it. Again, it all comes back to balance and consistency. And we can't stress enough what we feel about gut health, and that it's just the cause of so many problems. And it's not that hard to fix when you find the right balance in it. You really can.
Right. And it's just, again, creating a new habit. And I think that comes back to everything: gut health, to eating healthy, to sleeping, to taking a vitamin, taking your probiotic. It's just a new habit. We've a lot of people have created bad habits, but we created them. So now it's going to take you a little time to change the habit and to pivot and to create a new habit. But you could do it. It just takes time. You've learned to eat bad. Now let's just change it up and learn to eat good. Right. So it's like brushing your teeth. Right. Add that probiotic in. Make sure you're having a kombucha a day, whatever you're doing for your probiotic.
It just becomes second nature. It's just, it's something.
It's practice.
Yeah. It's practice. And understanding why. Right. So through our program, we teach you why. Like, we have a whole week that we discuss this, and then it bleeds into the next one, into the next, because everything comes back to insulin and gut health. Everything. It all comes back to insulin and gut health. And if you can understand those two, and you can look at your plate and know why you're eating it and why you aren't eating that, or I'm going to eat that now because I've saved for it and I know what's going to happen tomorrow, you're great. You got it. It just, and again, the foods are really good. It's not like you're really not eating cardboard.
Yeah, I love that you said that, because right at the beginning, Karen, actually, you said, like, I was afraid of food. And I think there are so many people listening that are going to be like, yep, because I don't get it. I don't understand. Or I'm in a hurry. I don't have time to learn, or, all of the reasons we give. And I think we have a bad habit of trying to make everything way harder than it has to be.
Absolutely.
But like you said, if we can say, okay, yeah, maybe I am scared of it, but if we can learn why something does what it does, whether that's protein, whether that's fat, whether that's insulin, if we can understand what's going on, it makes those choices less scary, less hard, less, and like you said, even when you make a choice to eat pizza, you understand what the choice is.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why we almost call, like we never say the word diet. You're not on a diet, right? This is a new lifestyle. And it's actually a 6-week course.
Yeah.
You're not just trying to lose weight. You're trying to learn and understand how these things work in your body, and a little bit of basic science behind it. We don't, teach details. It's the basic science behind it. And when you understand the why, sometimes it's a little bit easier to push something away you shouldn't be eating, or to bring something else into your life that you should be eating, if you actually understand. And when someone has that aha moment, when they're like, oh my God, my skin's clear, or oh my God, my bloat is gone, or I just feel so much better when I eat this, or I'm sleeping better.
We give a really good visual to make you understand insulin, right? Because we're not paleo, we're not keto, we are not Atkins. We are on the cusp of everything. Like, we are real life. We can fit in anyone's lifestyle. You could certainly be keto if you'd like to on our diet, but you don't have to be. That's not what we're pushing. We don't push anything. But we always explain it like, so if you have your tank in your belly, and that's your insulin tank, right? So like, if you're not eating carbohydrates and you're not eating sugars or processed foods, and you're eating good fats, veggies, and your proteins, like, your insulin levels are staying pretty low, right? We need some, right? Yep. This is why we're not keto, we're not paleo. So you need some, right? So like, maybe like 3 days you're being super clean, you're not having any of those carbohydrates, and then you add a little bit in, and like your tank gets a little fuller, and you're like, all right, I got some energy, I'm feeling good. And then you're like, I'm going to use it. Now I'm going to add it back in again. So like, if you can visually think, like, if I added in pizza on Friday, my tank is full. Right. So if I add pizza in again on Saturday, my tank is now overflowing. When that tank overflows, that's the stored fat. So like, just don't do it the next day. Like, let your body use some of it so that your tank has a little bit of room to come back up. And then when you understand it and you understand your body in it, you're suddenly going, oh, I got it. I got the balance. I have the cycle. And that is a huge thing for our members when they start to visualize and understand, when they look at their food and they go, I think my tank is full. I'm going to clean this up now. I'm going to use it. I'm going to let my body use this now. And then when my tank is depleted, I'm going to add it back in. So pizza's not that big of a deal on a Saturday night if you've gotten your tank all the way to empty. It's not going to overflow your tank and cause you to gain weight. If your tank's already full and then you're adding it, that's when you're going to gain weight. So that's just like a visual, and I hope that helps people understand what we mean by insulin and gut health, that they really are the core. So when you understand it, it's so much easier. It's not scary anymore.
I think one of the big gut health things as well is not craving. When you have all that good bacteria, your body wants that healthy foods. But when that bad bacteria takes over, that's when those cravings come in. Yeah. And you're like, oh, I want that pizza. I want this. I want candy. I want, so keeping those level, everything works together.
Yep.
Right. So if your insulin levels are too high, your gut health isn't going to be happy. If your gut health is happy, it'll help balance out your insulin levels. It's that give and take. And I'm going to touch on this quick because I feel like it is important with insulin is every calorie is not created equal. So we don't count calories. We watch calories. Say that.
It's a guide.
It's a guide, right? So if you have a Snickers bar, right? And let's say it's 200 calories, you're going to burn it like that, right? It's that flint. It's going to be boom. You're going to get a sugar spike. You're going to feel good for about an hour.
There's no nutrients. There's nothing.
No nutrients, right? Your body, and then you're going to crash. And then, all right, bad bacteria kicks in. Insulin levels are spilling over. I crave.
Right, and the insulin drops so quickly that your body doesn't have time to process it. So now it's going to store it, right? So if it's a steady insulin and not a dump, your body knows what to do with it. If you start dumping it, again, we're spilling over constantly. Go ahead.
Right. You're good. You're good. That's why we're a team. Okay. So then I'm going to say, instead of that Snickers bar versus an avocado, which is 200 calories, right? You're like, oh, I'm going to have 200 calories. I'm going to have the Snickers bar. Well, think of it this way. Say that avocado is 200 calories, but it's a nice, healthy, dense, healthy fat. Your body actually has to work to digest it, to process it.
Anytime you're working, you're using calories.
You're using calories, right? So your body's actually burning calories to burn this avocado to go store the nutrients that it needs, the good nutrients that your body needs to be healthy and strong. So now by the end of all this, you've used some of those calories to store this avocado. And you may only be down to say 100 calories, maybe 150 calories, whatever it is. And now you've stored all these healthy nutrients that is fulfilling your body and keeping your gut health good.
And you stay full.
Keeping you full, because healthy fats keep you full. We grew up in the world of fat-free.
Sugar-free,
fat-free.
Remember that?
So to make everything
Remember those cookies that you thought you could eat as many as you wanted? Yeah,
right.
Not so much.
How do you think they made all that taste good? Because they took the fat out, right? Chemicals and crap and garbage and fake sugars that all are disease causing.
Your body has no idea what to do with aspartame.
No idea what to do with it.
Just throwing it out there. Has no idea. So when it doesn't know what to do, it stores it.
Right. So I'd rather you overeat on an avocado versus Snickers bar, because your body knows what to do with that, and it's storing it, healthy nutrients, and you're working to digest it. So you can think about it that way, that all calories really aren't created equal. When you're obsessed with those calorie counting and that kind of thing, use it as a guide, but it's just a guide. And when your body is clean, efficient, it runs like a well-oiled machine. So you're burning calories more efficiently. So boom. So let's just say you're a well machine now and you're like, I am going out and I'm going to have my dinner. I'm going to have my wine, my bread. It's going to be fantastic. You may cheat, you may overflow, but your body is such a well-oiled machine now that it's going to burn right through. It's going to burn. It's when you do it over and over and over, and you keep spilling that tank over, that your body slows down, gets gunked up again.
Yep.
Those bad bacteria come back in. So everything is like full circle. That's why our logo is an infinity sign, where we're trying to like make everything right.
Yeah.
Works together.
So I hope some information was helpful.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting question. I don't know if you do have the answer, so if I'm putting you on the spot, I apologize. But how does stress impact gut health? Because we all know we have it.
Yeah. Stress causes havoc on any system in your body. So yes, it's going to cause your body to inflammation. It does. It causes, basically what stress does, and the reason why stress is so bad for us, it increases our cortisol levels. Yeah. And if our cortisol levels are too high, your gut's not going to work right. Your heart's not going to pump right. You're not going to sleep. Like if you're a stressed person, right, and you're sleeping, and in the middle of the night, you like pop out of bed and like, you're like, you just had a cortisol spike. You literally had like an adrenaline rush in your sleep. So that's what stress causes. It causes the cortisol levels to come up. And that's something like, even when you work out, right? When you're doing a workout, you're causing stress on your body. So there is a fine line of how much exercise you should be doing too. Like you don't want to constantly tax your body every single day. So like, sure, big hit workout and then a nice steady run the next day. That's the ideal. And then like adding a yoga in to like bring it down and bring that meditation part in. I mean, those are, if you could do it, I mean, that's a fantastic schedule, but most of us can't manage that entire schedule. But it's the cortisol that causes the problems. So yeah, and again, that'll affect your gut for sure.
Yeah.
So you didn't put me on the spot.
I would have felt bad if I did, but I think it's important because people are facing a lot of stress right now.
Oh gosh.
And I get asked all the time, like, how is this stress doing it? This is why I'm craving stuff all the time.
I also think, I'm with you on that, right? And I also think that when we're stressed, we tend to go for the bad stuff, the comfort stuff that we're comfortable with, right? So we tend to go with that, and we have shorter fuses, right? So like, I know when I'm stressed out and I'm not eating clean and I'm grabbing the bad stuff, I'm shorter fuse with my kids. I can't deal with social media now anyway, but I can't, you know, it's really hard. Like, you get really annoyed easily, right? You're yelling at your kids, you're feeling very agitated. And that is, again, causing stress levels and just havocing your whole body. So I really think it's important to be able to manage all of that. And when you're eating cleaner, your body works better and you can take that break because your body's feeling better.
I think, you know, I think it's a thing we can control, right?
Yes.
Our world is so out of control right now. I have all the control on what I put in my body. The government doesn't. No one does. No one can tell me. The weather can't tell me. Like, I have the choice. So the only thing that we can do, right, is to take care of ourselves. So the outside world is going to obviously add stress to our lives, and in any year, certainly in 2020. But if, like Lori just said, like, if you're also adding the stress of not eating clean, you are now like, you're starting here and like, you know, like, you're not even, like, at least you could say, like, I ate well yesterday and I feel good about that. So anyway, what were you saying? Instead of like being so cranky and then everything's a big deal.
Karen's right. It's totally something that we can control, and you just feel so much better. Like, it's one thing that you're like, okay, my body feels good going to bed tonight, instead of like, you ate like crap all day and now you're like, you know, stressed out. And she said, like, you'll jump up in the middle of the night because like your body is constantly in this digestive mode. Nothing's working right in here and you can't get your sleep in, right? So then you're cranky and then you eat another Snickers bar and it's a vicious cycle. So really, everything, honestly, that you can control comes down to what you put in your body.
You make me want a Snickers bar.
Everything comes down to what you put in your body. It starts there and you have the control over that.
Yeah.
What about alcohol on gut health? Because I know you said, you know, Karen said at the beginning, you know, we can make a choice, right? Wine.
Yeah.
Or,
yeah. You know, we enjoy our alcohol. Well, she's a tequila drinker and a wine drinker.
I'm just going to throw it out there. Tequila is a probiotic.
Tequila is a probiotic.
Just throwing it out there. It's actually good for your gut.
Wine, not so much. However, you can balance it, right? So wine is made of fruit, right? Wine has sugar in it. Your red wine is a little bit higher in sugar, the way it's processed, all that stuff. But if I know that I'm going to really go and enjoy some wine, I will make the choice to eat lower carb. I will take my fruit out. So it gives me a little bit of wiggle room, right? I'm going to take any of my sugars out the main. So fruit is fantastic for you, but it's also higher in sugar. So we just balance it, right? We just balance it. That's all. And we eat seasonally, right? We don't want, I mean, have you had a strawberry in February? First of all, they don't taste good. They're about this big, which means they're made in a lab somewhere, right? They have no flavor, right? So you want to think about it when you're going to be eating your fruit, when you're going to be eating that kind of stuff, like try to do it seasonally. Like Karen loves cherries, right? It's cherry season right now coming down to the end. So, you know, she's going to enjoy those cherries during cherry season, but she's not going to go and like search cherries out in February, you know, in the middle of the winter.
You just can't even get them.
Right. So
too bad it's a short little season.
It is.
It's coming to an end very quickly. I can feel it.
Balance it out though, right? So, and we believe that you should never take everything out, you know, that you love, but you have to balance it.
And it goes back to doing everything else right? So like if wine is your thing and you want to enjoy some wine, like would I say have a bottle a night? No, I wouldn't. I would switch you to tequila. I wouldn't tell you not to drink. Tequila. Let's be very clear or realistic on this. Or vodka, right? Like they're clean alcohol. So like, but I would say that if you're doing everything else right, your probiotic, your apple cider vinegar, and they're constant, you will find the balance in it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, you know, after a big night of drinking wine, you're bloated, you're like headache, your hands hurt. It takes like a day. You know, it's all the sugar, right, in the wine. And I guess it also depends on where the wine is made and what kind of process they put the wine through is also another part of it too. So, you know, like if you're getting French wines, I'm sure they're cleaner, you know, just because of the way they process their food over in Europe. But I I think it's finding the balance in it and switching to tequila. Just throwing it out there.
I'm trying to think Karen has tequila stocks or something.
Right. We went to a distillery the other night and it was like all New Jersey stuff. So my husband, I'm gonna say my husband, looks at me and he goes, "What are you gonna drink?" He's like, "I don't think there's an agave plant in Jersey." And I was like, "I'll figure it out." I went with vodka. It was actually very good vodka.
Yeah, so there is a balance. You just have to balance it out and plan for it, just like we said. Because, right, again, having wine one night or 2 nights or whatever it is, again, it's the consistent spilling over and over.
Right.
You know, it goes back to the planning. Nothing's off the table.
No, that's good. I think it's important because I think we do have the all or nothing thinking, right? It's just like, I have to be perfect or there's no point trying.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
It doesn't work.
Yeah. And there's, you know, some plans out there that, you know, they're so extreme that you're like, okay, awesome. Like I did it 6 weeks. I'm great. I lost all this weight. And then you're like, I can't maintain this.
Or I didn't learn anything.
Right. Or like, okay, I'm eating all this and I lost weight, but why did I do that? Like, why am I, you know, so taking a balance and really understanding and learning why things work in your body. I think also when you understand it, you only have one body. This is like your haven, right? So it's like when you understand what's happening and how things are working in your body, you're going to work a little bit harder and maybe make more of a conscious effort to not put something bad in your body.
Well, I think that's really important. And I appreciate that you said that too, because I think sometimes we think that the answer is a meal plan. Right. But by not learning, we also don't learn that some foods don't work for my body that might work for yours, right? And that's where these plans can, I'm not saying that there's no point for them, but where they can be limited is that when you're learning how your own body works and you're learning the whys, you know, I have food allergies. So there are things that just are never going in my body because the cost is too high, and they're not bad things.
Right.
They're just, for my body, it's just not an answer right now. And that's okay. But I also understand enough to know what the switches are to get healthier things that I need, that those foods, like the nutrients and the proteins and the fats that those foods would provide. So I'm not sitting there trying to follow a plan going, well, now what do I do? Or if somebody has, you know, a dairy insensitivity, or, you know, or you don't know about an insensitivity, and then you start eating cleaner, you start to learn, oh, my body just doesn't like this.
Bingo. We have she kept bloating after she had her tacos. Like it was the only thing. And she's like, what is going on? And we narrowed it down. Finally, she wrote every single thing she put in her mouth down, and it was black beans. Her body just, you know, beans in general, but like some people can't process beans anyway, but it was just the black bean. Other beans she was fine with. So she changed out the bean and she's fine. And just like she had that reaction in her body. So when we do our plan, it's a guide. Again, we go back to it being a guide. If there's salmon on there and you hate salmon, I don't ever want you to put salmon in your mouth. We're going to change out that protein, right? So by the end of our week 6, after like 6 weeks of education, you're creating your own meal plan and you found your own go-to foods. So Jen, you may be teaching a class at 5 a.m., but I may be dropping my kids off at 9, and you know, so it's like I will maybe bring a protein shake with me in the car, where if you're home, you may be able to have some yogurt with berries, right? So it's like, you got to find the go-to foods that work for you in your life. And those are going to change, right? Because summer to school, to teaching, to work, but finding the go-to foods that work for you, that satisfy you, that keep you full and work in your lifestyle. So by 6 weeks, you're going to sort of have a plan of what works for you.
And you trust the food, you trust the portion, you trust it. Like we're going back to the beginning, right? Like I couldn't trust food. Like I know exactly what I'm eating, and I have my go-tos, and they shift, right? They change depending on the season or whatever, or I'm bored of it. Yeah, you know what happens, right? But like if I'm bored, I know what to do next. I'm not going back to something that doesn't work for me. So I think it's all about finding that balance. And when you understand it, we never want you to do something like coffee. Okay. Yes, you can have coffee, right? Because people are like, oh my God, what about my coffee? I want my coffee. I want to learn how to live and drink the coffee. I like my coffee, right? So do I find a healthier version of it? Yeah, I like coffee mate, vanilla, cream. So I use the all natural, which is cream, vanilla, milk, sugar. Those are the 4 ingredients in it. I'm fine with that. My body knows what to do with those 4 ingredients. Do I have 4 large in the day? No, I have 1.5 in the morning and I'm done. But like, if you're a coffee person all day, maybe we could try to switch you to a kombucha, to a tea. If you're a light and sweet person, have your first one light and sweet, call it a day, move on, right? Because if you're going to start to say like, well, now I'm going to try the almond milk and I'm going to have this sweetener, and you don't like it and you force yourself to do it for 6 weeks, never going to make that happen.
Right. You have to find, especially your first cup of coffee, right? That's like can make or break your day, right? Like a bad cup of coffee in the morning, you're like, oh, you have a good cup of coffee. When you get up, you're like, all right, let's start my day.
Yes.
So that's important.
That's it.
It's so important. Yeah.
Finding what works for you in the
Yes.
healthy, cleanest version and being consistent, understanding that your gut and your insulin are the components to health, weight loss, weight management, energy.
Yeah.
It all starts there.
And finding what works for you also is about the food, but what about, like, for example, somebody who likes to really snack at night and just like needs to have that snack on the couch and they're overeating. So finding your right go-to at night could be a bag of pistachios that you have to shell yourself. Right. So now you have to take time to shell the pistachio.
Yep.
You're savoring the pistachio because you had to work at it. Right. So it slows you down. You put them in a bowl and you're done. Like, and then when you're done with it, you're done. But it's like something to do. So it's not so much about the food, but it's more about maybe you just need to be busy.
So we wrote a book called Shrink Your Body, Grow Your Mind. And in the book, there's one
about that.
Yeah, there's one part that's we talk about it. We say it's plan for your crash, right? So like if you know at 4 o'clock or you know you're a nighttime eater and you know that you're going to overeat on your nuts at night, like it's just you know it's coming, and every night you say I'm not going to do it tonight, and then the night comes and you do it and you're mad at yourself, and then the next day comes, I'm not going to do it. It's like, so you're not planning for your crash, you're just crashing and burning, right? Every single night. So what would I do if that was me? If I was like a nighttime nut eater, like that was when I wanted to eat them, I would stop eating them during the day. I would save them because I know that come 8 o'clock at night or 8:30 when I'm sitting on the couch, I like to pick at my cherries and my nuts. I'm just going to take them out during the day so that I have more room for them at night. So finding the balance, right? That's called planning. You're going to plan for the crash. I'm not going to sit through it and go down in flames every single night because it doesn't work.
And that again that's a new habit that takes practice.
Right.
It's being aware.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, it all comes down to the gut.
It does.
So for just in case they missed it, it was Shrink Your Body, Grow Your Mind.
Yes.
Shrink your body, grow your mind.
We'll make sure we have a link for everybody for it too. But yeah, that's awesome.
Shrink your body, grow your mind. And it's a really easy read, guys. There's the meal plan guides in here. There's the education is in there. There's a whole chapter on gut health.
Yep.
So it's basically our 6-week program, not in the live format. You can do it on your own.
We've had people have great success. Just
yeah.
reading the book, and they just the recipes are in there. Again, the guide is in there. It's just, you'll see it if you read the book, you'll see that it always comes full circle, and it's interesting.
Yep.
Awesome. So if we have people listening that are like, okay, I'm gonna get your book, I'm excited, but what could I do today? Like, what's 1 or 2 steps today that I could do to start moving towards a healthier gut? Just simple. What could I start with just today?
So I want you to write everything down that you've eaten for like the day. And then I want you to look at it and I want you to say, circle any healthy fats. Right? What else do we do on that?
Circle any of your fibers.
Circle any of your fibers, because fiber is key, right? Fats, fiber is key. Put an X or anything that you think is not healthy for you. So now we're looking at that and saying, okay, this is where your bad bacteria, your bad flora come into play. Look at what you're eating and do an audit of your daily foods, and then plan to add your apple cider vinegars in, your kombuchas in.
And apple cider vinegar is 2 tablespoons max a day. And that does not mean you have to have 2 tablespoons. You can dilute it in water. You can put it over ice. You can make tea out of it.
You can put it on your salad.
You could just swig it right out of the bottle. Make sure it's cold. It's easier when it's cold. And just follow it up with water. But you could start off with like 2 teaspoons. And then take a probiotic. If you can't get a good probiotic, like all the fermented foods we spoke about before, just having a tablespoon of that a day. Start adding those 2 things in, and make sure you're taking out all of your processed foods, and trying to keep your sugars low.
Yeah. So look at that list, that audit list, and look in, and you may not even know what has fiber, right? Which is part of the education, right? So if you don't know, then don't circle it. But really the thing that I want you to look at is, what are you eating that's processed? And there's nothing to be ashamed of. Like, we want you to be honest with yourself. And you may not even realize you're picking off your kid's plate as much as you are. Mm-hmm. Or you may not have been realizing how much you're just grabbing something because it's there. Like, you're checking out in Target and you grab, we'll change it up, Reese's peanut butter cup. So we'll change it up. You might not even realize that you're doing this, and it's just a habit, right? You're just like grabbing and going, and it's just something you eat in the car on the way home. That used to be my habit. Reese's peanut butter cups, $100,000. Oh my God. Like back in the day, it'd always be something in the car, right? So look at that, be aware of that. And all those bad things, that's bad gut health. That's spiking your sugar. That's spilling out in your bloodstream, spiking your insulin, and that's bringing all that bad flora in. So taking the processed foods and the bad foods out, putting healthier options in, and adding in that probiotic, whether it be that kombucha or a probiotic pill powder, or a sauerkraut, and anything that has that high probiotic. So just really, I think the biggest thing you need to do is audit what you're eating, and then begin the balance.
Yeah,
I think those are two huge steps, because if you don't realize what you're eating, you can't take that step forward.
Right.
Some people may just be like, oh, all right, I need good gut health, so I'm going to go buy a probiotic off the shelf, and then I'm good to go now. But they're not fixing the problem. They're bringing something in to help the problem,
right?
But they're not fixing the problem.
And you have to make sure you drink all of your water. I mean, that's just huge. It's still my nemesis. It's something I still work on every day. Some days I'm really good at it. Other days I'm not. It's just something that I still work on. Like no one's perfect, right?
No.
So, but having your water, and basically you're supposed to have like half your body weight in ounces. It sounds like a lot, except you really could do it. It's just a matter of finding the time, and no better time than now. You're kind of not going anywhere. The bathroom's right there. Like, give it a shot. So I'm still working on it. So
right.
let's work on that one together.
Right. We've had people who, everyone's talking about the COVID-15, putting the weight on during the quarantine, and okay, we felt sorry for ourselves a little bit. We were unsure. This is something we've never been through before. We've actually had somebody in our program reach out to us and say, well, all those people who gained the COVID-15, I decided to dig deep, and I lost the COVID-15 over quarantine. So she just changed her mindset. She's like, I have this time now to spend on me. I'm going to make the best version of me right now. Mm-hmm. And she sat down and she had the time, and instead of feeling sorry and eating all the crap, she ate all the good stuff. She lost the weight. She feels stronger than ever. Her immune system is up.
And her mind shift.
Her mind shift.
Huge. Like her version now of a cheat, as opposed to 6 months ago, what her version of a cheat was. They're so, you'd laugh. You'd be like, that's your cheat. And that makes her feel good. She's happier that way. She's enjoying it. She feels good. She likes the control she has. And it's not all the time, but she's feeling really, really good. She just gets it. It's really, once you get it and you practice and practice and practice it, it's just become second nature. Mm-hmm. It really does. And you got to hope your kids get on board.
Yeah, yeah, that's all.
That's a whole other series.
Yeah, right.
Maybe that's the next round, Jen.
Right? Teenage. Yeah. I don't know if I want to take that one on. So how often do you guys offer your program? I know you said it's 6 weeks.
It is 6 weeks, and we run it 5 to 6 times a year. We were starting like 3 times, then we've been adding on. We actually did one over the summer, but we'll also do like little mini programs. We'll do like a 4-week summer guide, and it's more of just maintaining through the summer, balancing through the summer. We also do a program called the Holiday Handhold, which is from Thanksgiving to Christmas. So we basically hold your hand through the holidays to make sure that you don't gain all that weight. We plan out all of your parties that you're going to. We help you balance the stress over the holidays. Yeah. And how to really just maintain yourself again. So our summer and like December program are more of like that maintaining. Yep. And then we get right back into it for 6 weeks. So our next 6-week program begins September 14th. And then we'll probably run another one right after that and then go into the holidays.
I just laugh because our Thanksgiving's the second week of October.
Oh, right.
I'm just going to call that out there because I know we've got listeners on both sides of the border.
Maybe we'll have to do
it always cracks me up. Yeah.
Canadian handle.
Yeah. We usually do things called like the turkey to turkey or turkey burn.
Mm-hmm.
From the Thanksgiving turkey to the holiday turkey. But yeah, we get a good 8 weeks. So it always cracks me up when we
could run a good 6 weeks in there.
Yeah. And honestly, I think the 2 hardest weeks of the year are the year between Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah.
Because you have this whole like mentality where you're like, whatever, I'll deal with it on the 1st. And then the last week of summer. I think everyone just throws it in. It's like a weird mindset.
Yeah.
And I've gotten caught in it.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm like, why do I have vacation break right now? I'm home. You just have like this weird vacation break.
Yeah.
Like it's
like we just worked with somebody who was on a week vacation. She went to North Carolina and they were on the beach with her whole family, and she had her whole family. And she says, I don't want to put all the weight back on during the week. So we planned out her week with her. And I said, all right, like this is what you're going to do. You're going to enjoy this, and this here. Balance it here. Make sure you can walk on the beach and bike ride every day. Take a bike ride with your kids. Go take a walk on the beach with your sister, right? So you're moving. And who's to say that you have to have fried appetizers every day? Why not make a beautiful plate of tomato and mozzarella and basil? Something like that, that's like a little bit healthier, right?
She came home. She's like, I don't feel like I missed a beat. I felt great. She's like, I'm even. I'm like, even's awesome.
Even's fantastic, right? It's not always about losing. It could be about just maintaining. Like you may say like, I just want to maintain for a couple weeks over the summer. I want to enjoy myself. I don't want to put weight on. So I'm going to balance and I'm going to give myself a little more fun cheats, but I'm not going to go crazy. And you can do that. That's part of life. That's why we say maintain the 5 pounds, right? That's life. That's life. We need to live now more than ever. We need to breathe and enjoy everything.
And eating clean should not feel like a punishment.
It shouldn't be a punishment.
If you go into it with, oh my God, I have to do this, you're not going to succeed. If you go into it like, I'm going to be kind to myself, I'm going to take care of myself and this one body that I have, and change the way you look at food and learn and keep your open mind and like erase everything you think you know and let us tell you the truth, it works. And you don't feel deprived. You feel really good. Mm-hmm. Nothing's hard. It's just, you make it hard. If you find excuses, like leave them. Just do it for yourself because you want to learn something or you want to be healthy or you want to lose weight or all three, but it's not a punishment. It really isn't. And certainly when there's a lot of wiggle room. So our program is built for that.
And, sometimes we'll have someone say like, I don't have time to prep. This is too much work. But guess what? You can go into any grocery store now and buy pre-chopped vegetables. You can buy stir-fry kits now already done like that, or like in your deli section, You can go to, I know like we have a big market here that like has a whole huge deli section, and they roast the veggies there and they package them up in the deli containers and you can take them home. They're nice and fresh. Like farmers markets. Like outdoor markets, like you can get this stuff now anywhere. You can get clean foods anywhere now. It's not like a faux pas anymore. It's like, oh, you're not eating clean? Right. You should be eating that,
Right. No, it is. It's true.
Yeah. We don't want it to sound, like it's a bad thing. It's actually a fantastic thing. And, again, now more than ever, your immunity, keeping your gut strong so you can keep your immunity up and we can fight anything that comes against us. That's the most important thing to me right now.
I agree. So gut health. That's where it starts, guys.
Yep. And this whole conversation, it comes right back down to that.
It really does.
Yep. Big full circle.
Make sure you get the apple cider vinegar that has the mother in it.
Yes.
And then you have to shake the bottle. If you don't have to shake the bottle, you're not drinking the right apple cider vinegar. Just if you the bottom, it'll settle. So you need to shake it. Again, water with ice. You could just put it over ice. You can make it hot, like Lori likes to make it hot.
You know what? We could do this. If you shoot us a direct message, we have a gut health guide. Or Jen, I'll do too. I will send you the link and you could put it in here if you want
to do that. We'll make sure
we have a free gut health guide.
We'll
or you can shoot us a message, or I'll give the link to Jen, and Jen, you can post this up, and it's a free clean cut gut. It just gives you what Karen's telling you is the how to make an apple cider vinegar tea. And just information on that. So we'll send that over to you so anybody listening can have that for free.
Yeah, I'll for sure put that link up for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Just thought about that in the beginning.
Great.
Yeah. Awesome.
Right. Well, on that note, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate you.
It was very fun.
It was fun.
Gut health, like I think, we kind of know it's important, but spending time to actually hear why it's important is just really enlightening and eye-opening. And it's even made me go, yep, I need to just take an extra step and really nail this because I know it. I'm like you said, though, I'm doing it. I'm just not doing it consistently. And I think that's, it's good to always hear it, right? No matter what stage we're at, what we know, what we don't know. It's good to hear it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
So guys, grab their guide. We'll make sure it's on there. Reach out, send them a message. We'll have all their contact information if you have any questions. And thanks, ladies. I really appreciate you being on today, and we'll see the rest of you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Bye, Jen.